speaking on black history, what better black historian to speak about than Martin Luther King Jr.? I want to read a brief biography that won't take but a minute of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. On January the 15th, 1929, in Atlanta, Georgia, a child was born to Michael and Alberta Williams King. Born as Michael King Jr., in going to Booker T. Washington High School, he skipped both 9th and 11th grades and entered into Morehouse College in Atlanta, Georgia at age 15 in 1944. His grandmother died when he was 12 years old, and Michael, feeling depressed, jumped out of a 2-story house, attempting to commit suicide. God was with him surely. Michael Jr.'s granddad, A.D. Williams, moved to Atlanta in 1893 and took over a small church of 13 members called Ebenezer Baptist Church. He brought the church from a struggling place to a full congregation. After he died, his son, Michael King Sr., took over, later adopting the name of a religious German Protestant leader called Martin Luther. In due time, Michael King Jr. also changed his name to Martin Luther, adopting the name of Martin Luther King Jr., but we mostly know him for his leadership in the civil rights movement from the mid-50s until his death April 4th, 1968. Overlooking the fact that the black church associations was birthed from the civil rights movement, or the fact that Martin Luther King earned a sociology degree from Morehouse and attended liberal Crozer Theology Seminary in Chester, Pennsylvania, valedictorian, and also was under the guidance of Benjamin E. Mays. Now, as we go back to the text on this day, as we look back at the text, Moses was the leader of the Israelites coming up on this time, as Martin Luther King Jr. was the leader of the civil rights movement. God promised his people the land of Canaan and repeatedly told them that they would have the land while they was in a bad place or while they was in the wilderness. Now, in the midst of our American wilderness, what if Martin Luther King never had the courage to speak up?
All right, come on.
What if Rosa Parks never refused to surrender her seat on the bus? What if Medgar Waller Evers would have never attended the University of Mississippi and worked so hard to overturn segregation? Where would we be today? Even in the midst of all our black leaders dying, getting bitten by dogs, getting sprayed down by fire hoses, our young generation today seems to not even care about the things that's going on. Our young generation today seems to not even know a smidget of their history that happened in the past. I spoke to a young man and I said, you know, all this gang stuff that's going on, all this black on black crime that's going on, do you not know that your ancestors was beaten and hanged from trees for our freedom? And the young man told me, I don't care what went on back then. This was going on now and we run this. I thought to myself, my God, if our ancestors would have never died, if Martin Luther King and other leaders in the civil rights movement would have never had the courage to go in all-white restaurants and have a seat, or to march in places that they were not wanted, if they had never had the courage to do those things, we would still be in bondage today. And the funny thing is, back then, black people got along with each other because they had to.
Come on.
They had to be unified because there were so many forces already against them and they had no choice.
No choice.
Oh my God, today we have so much freedom we don't even like our neighbors.
Come on.
We don't even like the man at the corner store all because God blessed him with a store.
You better say that.
Amen.
When black people open up a store selling clothes, we won't even buy from them. We'd rather go to the Indians because we hate to see another black man overcome.
You better come on.
Now, sticking to the text, Moses passed the torch to Joshua. And God instructed Joshua to walk around every patch of ground over in Canaan, and everywhere that he walked, God gave him the land. Amen. Now, it reminded me of that long walk to Selma, Alabama.
Oh, that's good.
Back in the scripture, you see the Israelites because of God's promise. The civil rights activists, they had no army, they had no guns, yet Martin Luther King led boldly by God's promise to him.
Yes.
Every believer that's doing the will of God, God will continue to strengthen. Whatever you're doing in your life, if God gave you an assignment, if you're doing the will of God, regardless of who's not for you, if God is with you, then ask yourself, who can be against you?
Yes.
Amen.
Now Joshua wasn't sure that God would be with him because God was with Moses.
Yes.
Now as a black generation, we can be assured that if we rise up and be leaders, that God will be with us because he was with Martin Luther King. God will be with us because he was with Malcolm X. God will be with us because he was with Rosa Parks. God will be with us because he was with Medgar Evers and so on and so forth back into slavery. God is with us.
Yes, he is.
I heard a man say, I never seen so many scared Christians in my life.
Oh my God.
We sing the songs of Zion and we sing Pass Me Not, O Gentle Savior and all these other things that we sing, but as soon as trials and tribulations, as soon as the storms come into our lives, we act like we don't even know the word.
Come on. Forget it. Say it. Say it.
If we ignore the problem,
It ain't going.
then we become part of the problem.
Amen.
Am I saying go out and start a race war? No, that's not what I'm saying. But our young black men and our young black women are dying. They're misled today. Our young black men are joining gangs because that's the only love that they feel. They don't feel any love at the house. Our young black women are being promiscuous and selling their body for money because they feel like they don't know no other way. And as leaders, like back in the days when I was young and we was doing something, they might, a neighbor up the road might whoop me and then tell my mama later. But we don't want to say nothing to these kids today because we rather pull out our phones and record what's going on instead of being grown-ups and teaching them right from wrong.
That's right, that's right.
But on today, we can no longer be ignored like the young man here said. Black history is not just a month, but black history is a lifestyle. You see, blacks are responsible for the wealth of America. The blacks before us built this land. A government official once said that blacks should just go back to Africa, but I don't know about none of y'all, but my grandfather helped build this nation, and my great-grandfather helped build this nation and helped to build this land, so I ain't going nowhere.
Amen.
I'm staying right here where my people labored. I'm staying right here where blood, sweat, and tears fell. So regardless of who don't like it, we here to stay.
That's right, son.
You know, we often point fingers at other nations and say, oh, how bad the Muslim nations are and how bad these nations are. But I'm sorry to tell you, America, but you went to a whole other country and stole a whole nation, so you ain't too good either. I came to tell you that America is a rogue too. I came to tell you that they kill innocent people every day. America is a thug too.
My God.
We look at other countries, but won't look at ourselves. Before Christopher Columbus discovered America, we was here.
That's right.
Before Thomas Edison even thought of a light bulb, we was here. Before Abraham Lincoln declared the Confederate War, we was already here. You know what I'm saying? We was already here, and we have to take a stand, and we have to unify, or our young kids and the kids after them and our other generations are not going to know about any black history. They're not going to know about any slaves. But I put my life on the line to pass this message because I feel like Martin Luther King. I feel like I've been to the mountaintop, and I've seen the lightning, and I've heard the thunder, and I might not make it to the Canaan land with you, but baby, God has blessed me in so many ways. You see, we went against the grain and we rode the buses. We went in the restaurants where it said no blacks allowed, no matter what the consequence was. We took the long walk to Selma. We ain't going nowhere. You see, Satan wanted Jesus to change the world, but he didn't want Jesus to save the world.
Come on here.
You see, you can undergo change without being saved.
Come on.
If you think about our lives drinking, or I stopped going to the club, or I got married, I'm a changed man, but they still don't know Jesus. You don't know Jesus is still in vain.
Amen.
You don't know Jesus is still in vain, because it's some things that money can't buy, and it's some things that food just can't satisfy. Nature forms us. Sin deforms us. Environment conforms us. Schools informs us. Prisons reform us. But only Jesus Christ can transform us. It's time to go back to the old ways, the old unity, and the old love for ourselves. The scripture says, go back to the old ways, and when you find the old path, walk therein. I came to tell you today that black history is not just a month. Black history is just a lifestyle. And I dare you to stand on your feet and lift your hand up to the Lord right now and say, Lord, continue to strengthen us in this ugly nation, Lord. Continue to strengthen us when we're being persecuted, Lord. When they consider us only 3/5 of a human being, Lord. Continue to bless us in the mighty name of Jesus. And by God's grace, we will continue to stand, black man. We will continue to stand, black woman, as a nation, as a people. And I love all y'all. God